All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to my Monday morning rant for Monday, the 18th of January, 2021. All right. It's been a really busy last week for me, busier than usual. And I'm here to say I really enjoyed it. I had three shoots, one with Kita the cheetah, who is an Aboriginal girl who found me on Instagram. She doesn't seem to know any of the other girls that I shoot with, but she just loves my work and she wanted more of the same. Um, she's a really cheeky girl and we had so much fun. Just one of those people that I just click with straight away. And completely open book. So it was great to talk to her about being an Aboriginal person in Australia and growing up with racism. Like it's completely understandable that I got racism as a kid, as an Asian, one of the only Asian kids in my class, but for an Aussie to get, like an Aboriginal person to get racism in Australia just blows my mind, right? So it's just weird to talk about that. Like she has darker skin, so she always copped it for that. And yeah, just interesting, really interesting conversations. Um, and also shot with Viv, and we spent a whole day out in the sun. Um, the sun is up till like 7 o'clock at night, so it was harsh. It was super harsh. Like we both got many shades darker that day. And I'm still not so confident shooting outdoors. I don't mind when there's shade and controllable light, but when I'm in harsh light like that, with my kind of blown out style, everything gets blown out even more. And yeah, I tried to shoot into the light as I usually do, but that meant that Viv's face was in shadow, and other people, other photographers that know what they're doing out there would probably 100% actually be using reflectors to bounce some light back onto their models' faces. But I'm a real stubborn fuck when it comes to shooting, and I like to only shoot with the camera, one lens, one setting locked in at 1.4. It's my thing. I don't like to use gear, external lights, reflectors. I'm not a gearhead when it comes to shooting. So I did what I could. Some of the shots are okay. Viv's happy with them, but I think I could do a lot better. And whether I can do a lot better without using a reflector and extra gear, I'm not so sure. So it goes to show why I am most comfortable on sunny days inside. That's my thing. It's my jam. Also shot with Abby, Cremalicious, and Peachy. Um, we got pretty trashed for this shoot before we even started shooting, and I don't know if that was a good thing. I think a lot of the shots, like lately, I have been posting more looser shots where I'm not 100% in line with something in the background, or the grid is not perfect. It's slightly rotated to the left or to the right. And in the past, where I usually would have fixed that up in post and just rotated things around to be tight, I really have been enjoying posting more shots as I took them. I feel it's more raw and real, and it's how I shot it. So I'm so happy to leave them as they are. But these shots weren't just loose in terms of like angles; they were loose in terms of focus as well. So when you're shooting two girls in 1.4, it's really difficult to shoot both faces in focus unless they're on the exact same plane. Like if one girl is slightly in front of the other girl would be blurry as fuck. And that is, I mean, you could even see it on this lens right now, right? Like how fucking my 1.4 is just such a blurry lens that if I focus on an eyeball, everything else will be blurred out. So shooting those guys was really difficult for me, not only because I was wasted, they were wasted too. They kind of looked wasted in the shots, and it's because it's all in the eyes, right? And also, I felt like I had to do double the work, like focus on one girl and let the other girl be blurry, and then do the exact same shot where I focus on the other girl. So it's almost like double the shots for every shot that I want to get. And Abby has been modeling for some time now, and she turns it on in front of the lens. Whereas Peachy, she hasn't. She's new to this. So you've got one girl who really knows how to move and model. And in nearly every shot, she's giving me something. And then you've got Peachy, who needed a lot of guidance and was really hit and miss. So, um, yeah, like when it came time to editing the shots, I took a lot of shots, but the shots that finally made it had to have both models doing something right and me doing something right behind the lens as well. So it was really difficult. I mean, I think life's all about learning lessons, right? So like I'm more than happy to shoot more to shoot two or more girls at the same time, but in future I'd probably make sure that it's always two girls that know each other and that know how to model, as opposed to the situation that I was in last week, where one girl knows how to model really well and the other one's just starting out, and it just, you know, add that to like being wasted. It was just like bound to be more difficult experience. Um, I also had a podcast with Leslie and Sean from the Hustle and Flow podcast. Those guys are absolute legends, and they insisted on doing it face to face. So I got to take out the old three mic setup, clear up this desk a bit, and use the Zoom unit to record the audio on three separate tracks, and use a video recorder to record the footage. And yeah, it's much more of a head fuck than Zoom is, but it's so nice to have a face to face, and these guys have seen me go from like just climbing back out of the hole, which was depression, into where I am now. And so it's almost like therapy for me hanging out with these two. And during the open conversation, I felt like a dog chasing its tail. Like sometimes I just felt like I'm the Ouroboros, the fucking snake eating its own tail. Um, I feel like my life has always been like that to a degree, and it's probably going to be my next tattoo design. Actually, it's just like the fucking snake eating its own tail. Um, those guys are really patient dudes, though, so I think they stuck with me, and I just kept coming back to similar things and similar thoughts. Um, the saddest thing about the podcast was that the memory card on the Zoom unit was close to full, and it stopped recording half an hour into our 2.5 hour podcast. And man, I was kicking myself for that era. It's, I've got no one to blame but myself. Like I wiped the memory card on the video camera, and I thought I had done the same with the Zoom unit, and I didn't. And in the end, we had to use the audio that was recorded off the video camera for the podcast, which really sucks. I mean, we had three good mics there. We had awesome quality audio for the voice recordings, and for it not to turn out, I was just kicking myself. It's just one of those shit feelings. And when I told Leslie and Sean about it, Leslie responded really quickly and just said, "Oh, that's a shame, but shit happens." And I just loved it. As soon as I read that, I'm like, you know what? Thanks, Leslie. Like that just was all I needed to hear. Like, yep, shit happens. Learn from my mistake. Get it better next time. So, um, I love the calming effect that guy has on me. Yesterday, I spent a day in a park for Nanami Cowdroy's birthday party. And, you know, fuck, it's just so refreshing sometimes to hang out with people my own age. Like, I tend to hang out with people that are so much younger than I am, and to hang out with people that are my age, and to see them there with kids and with dogs and basically responsibilities in life, and just chilling and having such great conversations. Uh, and the women my age are fucking crazy, man. Women my age are crazy. Like they're so flirty and fun. I always manage to get in trouble with one of Nanami's friends whenever I'm at one of her parties and get-togethers. You know, you're like yesterday, one of the girls pinched my nipple so fucking hard that it hurt for hours afterwards. Um, so funny. Just I fucking love these people. So, um, I think throughout my life, I've always felt really inadequate when I hang out with older people, and I still kind of feel the same way, but at the same time, I think I'm starting to get some love back. Like maybe they like the youthfulness, and maybe they just find me funny and weird or something. I don't know, but it's just like I actually just really enjoy hanging out with people my age lately. So it's probably something I really need to do some more. Um, but yeah, that was awesome. Yesterday was awesome. I brought the BMXs out. Uh, it was just so cool to ride them around the park and just get them out in the sun. Um, and that was my week, guys. Like, I mean, it was chockers. It was like there was something on every single day, and I don't do that. Like, I don't like to book my calendar out. I usually like to have days off in between organized events. So when shit does happen, I've got that time to go and do whatever it needs to be done. But having a chockers week was great. So this week's going to be a little bit more quiet for me, but I am actually planning a few things. I've got a few podcasts lined up. So I've got Quentin. He's an Aussie who is living in New York, and he's just become this amazing New York City nighttime street photographer. I absolutely love his work. I think every shot he takes is just quality. It's always his style. It's super consistent. And I just thought it'd be awesome to get him on a podcast and just talk about what it's like being an Aussie over there, what's it like living in New York in general, and just to talk about his photography and just geek out about it. I probably even talk about gear and all that shit. Like I get really nervous shooting in the dark at night without light, and this guy seems to strive shooting in low light. So I think I could learn a thing or two. So Quentin is lined up. I got Grant and Gwyn from Gripshiftslide. These guys have been running Gripshift for as long as I've been running Zen, and we used to be this happy family of different bloggers that used to cover the automotive car scene, And I think out of all the people out there who are still doing it, these guys probably produced the best photography and they post it the most consistently. It's like they are always posting up amazing shots on their Instagram. I really believe they should get more love than they do. So I would love to have those guys on and just to talk about old times in the car scene, how we started and why we're still fucking doing it. I'd really love to know why they're still doing it because their content is just so awesome, and they must be driven by something, and I'd like to know what that is. Um, I've also been talking to the Mere Mortals. These guys run a podcast and they do book reviews. They have guests on their show. They're really open-minded dudes. I really enjoy some of their podcasts. So I'm really looking forward to having those guys on the show. That's probably going to be next Monday. Actually, we have a date penciled in for that. And, we'll be sure to keep that conversation open as well. That'll be great. And Ben Branch, he's the guy who runs Silodrome, like literally one of the hottest, coolest gasoline culture blogs out there. He reached out to ask whether I knew any developers to help him update their WordPress blog. Um, I'm so out of touch with that shit. But then, man, like I love Silodrome, and I just threw the question out and asked him whether he'd be interested in being on a podcast, and he is. So um, that looks like 4 potential podcasts lined up, and I'm really looking forward to getting it rolling again. I mean, these Monday morning rants are great for me, but podcasts are where there's more unpredictability and it's the two-way thing, you know, like this is really one way for me. I have no idea what I'm going to say, but it's like, well, there's nothing that anyone else can say to trigger me to say something else, right? So I think podcasts are really where I need to focus on and get back to, and try to do one a week. You know, that would be a great minimum to start with. So yeah, guys, the fucking year is flying. I hope everyone is coping okay with this COVID shit. Like, I know people are starting to get back into work now, and whether they're happy about it or not. Like, I know some people are really nervous, actually. Like, some people I spoke to yesterday were super nervous about having to go back into work. Like, they've been working from home for so long, and now they're freaking out about going back to work. You know, I don't mean to make anyone jealous. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that kind of shit. But I hope everyone sorts it out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See yous.